Hello. I am coming to you from my new phone, so my picture is clearer than ever. I am here today to talk to you about heels. I am about to release a new heels course, a 6-lesson online course, where I prepare you to wear heels, and I also teach you what to do while you're wearing the heels as well. I've actually gone into this course with 3 different sets of heels. I chose ones that were similar to something that everybody may or may not have, and ones that are a bit different from each other. And just filming in 3 different heels was a lot, let alone, all of my different heels. So I have done my best to give a nice general overview of what to do when you're wearing heels and how different heels differ from each other. What I did want to talk about today, because it's a little too late to give you this information once you've already purchased the course, is when do I start wearing heels? Which is a question that does get asked quite a lot. Every teacher or coach or mentor will tell you something different, which is absolutely fine, and that's just how that is. So if what the information I'm giving you is different to what somebody else has given you, doesn't necessarily mean that anybody is wrong. It's just their opinion. So for me, when I'm going to put somebody in heels, I like to make sure that their Samba basic step is super, super solid. Once you start dancing in heels, it puts you in a different position on your feet. It puts you in a different position with your body, and you really don't want to be stuck. You don't want to be stuck in heels and creating bad habits because you don't feel comfortable with your basic step in flat shoes. So for me, I always really like to make sure that my students have a really, really solid basic step before they jump up onto heels. Depends on how fast you're wanting to dance in the heels, but you really need to have a solid basic step at whichever speed you're dancing at in the heels in flats, if that makes sense. So if you're planning on dancing at 100 beats per minute in heels, I'd really like for you to have a solid basic at 100 beats per minute in flat shoes, in sneakers, whatever, bare feet, whatever that may be. If you're wanting to dance at 130 beats per minute in heels, then I would really want you to be having a decent 130 beats per minute in flat shoes or bare feet. Just because everything changes when you're in heels, and again, we don't want to be creating bad habits. So that is my first piece of advice. Make sure that you have a really strong Samba basic. The next piece of advice is that you want to sort of start doing some exercises before you put the heels on. So this is what I cover in my course, and there is a few lessons there where we do a lot of strengthening techniques to strengthen the legs, to strengthen the ankles, the calves, the quads, the core. All of those things need to be working for you, and I like to help people find that before they even put a pair of heels on their feet. Dancing in heels can be dangerous, I suppose, in some ways. If you don't ever wear heels in everyday life, if you don't wear heels to work, if you don't wear heels when you go out, if you really just spend a lot of your life in flats, and dancing in heels can be dangerous. You can roll an ankle quite easily. Even someone who's been dancing, been wearing heels for a long time, when you start dancing in the heels, that's a different story. So we do like to spend a little bit of time creating some strength around those areas, and finding a really good posture too. So that's another point that I like to make, which goes hand in hand with your solid basic technique, because you can't really have a solid basic technique if you've got poor posture there. So you really need to have good posture while you're dancing samba initially, and then you do need to find that good posture again when you've got your heels on. So that's another layer on top there. So while a lot of this course is definitely aimed at people who haven't worn heels before or are quite new to wearing heels, it's also great for people who need a bit of a boost in their heels as well, not feeling 100% confident, have worn heels a fair bit, but need a little bit more information to feel like they can be 100% confident. Whether that's a thing or not, I don't know. But they, again, strengthening exercises. So even if you have started wearing heels, you can always be stronger. We can always be stronger, and those strengthening exercises will actually help with your samba as well, with your dancing, just in general. I'm also taking you through some choreography. I'm taking you through some really general samba movements too, and talking through how I personally use my heels. So how I use my heels will be different to other people, but for me, this is what works for me. And if it works, and there will be information in there that helps you work through that as well and find what works for you too. So some general movements, some tips and tricks there. Then I go through some choreography in the next lesson and give you a whole bunch more tips and tricks. And then lastly, there's a freestyle section as well, because choreography and freestyle are very different when you're wearing heels. So I've gone through all of that too. So there's a lot going on in there. I've almost forgot there's a bonus stretch as well. So obviously when we're wearing heels, we're using a lot of different muscles too. So it's important to stretch those muscles and tendons and ligaments and make sure that we're looking after our body properly so that we can continue to dance in heels or dance samba for a long time into our future, because as we know, it is a hard style. It is quite tough on the body, and we do want to make sure that we can continue dancing if we take care of our bodies properly. I also like to build a lot of confidence with my students first. Wearing heels is a little bit of a mind game, and I don't know if you're watching this and you have danced in heels before and you know what I'm talking about, but dancing in heels it's a mind game. So you can dance amazingly. You can dance beautifully in a pair of flat shoes or in bare feet, and then put a pair of heels on and feel uncomfortable and small and cautious. And we cannot be doing that when we're wearing a pair of heels, because at the end of the day, the heels will win. The heels will win. So we need to find some confidence. And again, that's something that I go through in this course, is finding confidence without the heels on, while you've got the heels on, and preparing to dance in the heels, and then of course dancing in the heels as well. So it's really a matter of good preparation before you put a pair of heels on. I do offer lots of free things like discovery calls, so that one is perfect if you're really wondering whether or not you are up to putting heels on and you want to have a conversation with me about it before you purchase the course. Then absolutely please feel free to book in a discovery call with me. You'll find the link in my bio or in the comments section below. You can book that in. It's absolutely free. There's no obligation, I promise you. book that in and we'll have a good chat about where you're at. And if you are looking to purchase the course, then perhaps we might even have a little dance together and I can just see where your basic step is at and give you some tips on what needs to happen potentially before you put heels on, or just let you know, yep, you're good to go. Grab the course and get started. In that course as well, if you haven't got a pair of heels or you're looking to buy a new pair, I have spoken through about 5 pairs of different kinds of shoes in this course, about which ones are good for which settings and how they'll feel when you're dancing in them, and what you're looking for. If you're a beginner in heels, then I'm talking through a couple of pairs that are good for beginners, beginner heel wearers, not beginner samba dancers, but beginner heel wearers. And I also have a few in there that are more advanced as well. So I talk through all of those minor details. It gets quite nitty gritty actually, and I do talk through all of that, and lots of nuggets of advice that relate to other things and not just specifically heels as well. So lots of performance points in there too. So yeah, if you do have any questions, feel free to either leave them in the comment section below or DM me, or even better yet, book yourself in for a discovery call. Again, 100% no obligation on that one. I honestly just want to help people to find the right path to be on with their Samba journey, and we can have a chat about that. I hope that this has been helpful, help you decide whether this heels course is for you or not, and I will be chatting to you shortly. Take care. Bye.